Okay, it's 15th September 2017, 10:05 hours. Sergeant of RCMP. With me is John Anderson. John, can you tell me your date of birth?
July 1979.
Okay. Can you tell me about what you came in for today?
Years ago when I was young, I tried to press charges against Emal Dastou and for sexual assault against me when I was a child. But I waited too long to say something because at the time I was so young I didn't even know what happened to me. I was young until I started getting older and realizing it. So I came forward, we went to court. I gave my statement, and I will give that statement again. But I went to court, and because I waited so long, it didn't go through. They put the screen in front of his face, even it was pretty bad. And eventually another kid comes forward, and he gets 5 years. And so now, because this other kid come forward, it kind of enlightens my case a bit. So I want to take him back to court because of closure. I want justice. I really do. So I'll go right to the very beginning on how it happened. My mother hired a babysitter when I was really young. Like, this is young. The age is around 5, between 5 and 7. And it was in Grimshaw, across from a school, Holy Family School. She hired the mother to Emal Dastou named Madeline. And so as I'm getting babysat, I'd be left alone with her oldest son, who is Emal, and the other 2 oldest sons. So the 3 oldest. And a lot of the times, he would take me down into the basement, and he would get me to do all these things to him, like suck his penis and all these other kind of stuff. He would never penetrate me. Not that I can remember anyway, but I can remember doing a lot of things to him. Even right down to the clothing, right even after all these years. Iron Maiden t-shirt with the sleeves torn off. He had maroon sweatpants on. And those white tube socks. Remember those ones with the red and blue stripe at the top? And he had brief underwear, like some light blue or navy blue. And at the time when I wrote my statement back then, I didn't say it happened more than once because I felt so ashamed of what happened. I said it only happened once, and it didn't happen just the once. It happened lots. It happened more times than I can even count. And he kept doing that. And there was times when the 2 second oldest boys would even open the door and they'd see it going on. And then he would yell up, because we're at the bottom of the stairs in this cold, unfinished basement. And he'd yell up, telling them to close the door, close the door. And they even seen it. And they've opened that door quite a few times. Right? And they still didn't say nothing. And so by them not even saying anything, too, like, they're just as guilty. This whole time. How far do you want me to go?
Oh, keep going.
Well, they went as far as even making me eat bars of soap and shit. Not Emal Dastou, but the 2 other second oldest ones. They would make me eat bars of soap, Tabasco sauce. Those kids tortured me. So not only was I just sexually abused by one, I was physically abused by these other 2 kids as well. But Emal Dastou was an older kid. He's old enough to know better than what he was doing. Like, that was just... He was in high school, I take it at the time, in Holy Family. And so, to this day, I've always been trying to find this guy. Trying to confront him. Because he's ruined my life. As well as the other kid. The other kid's name is Dustin Rowe, I think. I have it here. The other victim that did get him convicted was Dustin Gilbert Russell. He's 32 years old. He was born March 29th, 1985. Same thing repeatedly. And his is the case that got him sent away for 5 years. So now, it's proof that I wasn't lying, so I want my case brought back. Okay. That brings enough evidence that I was telling the truth. And he shouldn't be free. There's other victims, too. You just got to make them talk and get out there and go public. Because there's lots of victims, dude. Like, there's more than just me and Dustin Russell. There's lots. Like, this guy, it's bad. Very bad.
How do you spell Emal's last name? Do you know?
His first name is Emil, and his last name is, I think, Dastou. Could be OUE with a hyphen, or O with a hyphen, or U with a hyphen.
Okay.
You know, the Dastou, it's that native last name. Okay. French native, I guess.
Okay. So, do you remember how old you were?
I was around 5 or 7 years old. I got a good memory. I remember when I first crawled out of my crib. So, I just don't remember the exact date because years have still passed. But I know it was around when I was 5 or 7. I came forward, I think, when I was around 11. I just waited too long. And then I felt like the system failed me. And then I was bad for holding it for so long. And I didn't even know it was wrong until I was watching the show America's Most Wanted that was on, and I was seeing people going to jail for this stuff. Okay. And then I realized that what happened to me was wrong. So, and at the time when I was first molested, when my mom tucked me into bed, when I first told her about it, she tucked me into bed and she kissed me goodnight. She left the room and it bothered me and bothered me and bothered me. 20 minutes goes by after even watching that episode before she put me to bed, and then I called her in. And then I told her that Emal Dastou molested me, and I threw the covers over my head because I was so ashamed.
So you came forward around when you were 11 years?
Yeah.
And you said it went to the courts?
Oh, yeah. It did. Peace River.
Okay.
That's where it went.
Did anything happen after you came forward? Like, any of this activity happen after you came forward?
No. Okay. I wasn't she wasn't babysitting me by then because I was older and I was just at home with my sisters or brothers at the times, right? But I should have said something to my mom. She died right on her deathbed with this hurt, knowing that she hired that lady.
So would you recall what happened in court?
I know that they kept the information to use it in the future if something else was to happen, type of style. That's what the end conclusion was, but there was no conviction.
So does it sound like it would? Do you recall if it was stayed?
It was, I don't know. It sounds like that. It could have been stayed.
Okay.
But I doubt it.
But
it sounds like it was tossed and they just kept the information.
Okay. So you gave evidence to the court?
Oh, yeah, I spoke.
Okay.
Like, I was on the stand. I had to ask for the screen because I didn't want to look at his face, so they came and unfolded this white screen in front of him, this unfoldable fucking hard, looked like a whiteboard that he write on, but it's just unfoldable, so I didn't have to look at him, and his family was in the very back, and it was closed court, though. Portions of it were closed because they had to ask the families and everybody else to leave. Mm-hmm. Right? But they even lied. His family even lied. Like, I can't believe it. And to this day, those brothers opening that door and remaining crying, they're just as fucking guilty, buddy. And so by doing that, it caused Dustin, this other kid, to get molested because I failed at remaining quiet. If I would have came forward earlier, this kid.
So Dustin Russell is the other victim.
Yeah.
Is the other victim, and there was convicted. But you mentioned Dustin Rowe. Are those two the same people?
No.
So who's Dustin Rowe?
Oh, I don't know. I just was last name came out by accident.
Oh, okay. That's
Sorry.
what I was meaning. Okay, so okay.
I just deal with so many people on a daily basis.
No, that's fine. No, that's fine. So do you remember the names of the two brothers?
One was, I think it's Darcy Dastou, Emal. I don't know if it's Dwayne. Because there's 4 of them, I believe. And but there's only 3 when I was going there. It was the 3 oldest that were involved, right? But okay. And they know the sexual abuse, but they're gonna deny it because they've seen it so many times. They opened that door out of curiosity, the kids. You know what I mean? That's what they did. If you get into that house, I could show you exactly what it looks like going straight down that basement. Like right down, you'd see it. Especially that light coming in. Because you did have the lights off, but it doesn't matter. As soon as you open that door, it lights up the bottom of the stairs. And those kids see. And he's naked yelling up. Like, how could you not?
So,
Right?
do you recall how long of a period that you were babysat for him? Like, how many months?
It was for months. I know that. Close to a year, I'm sure. The one who would know that information the most would be my mother, and she's passed away. But I can remember summer there, and I remember even winter there, building snow forts outside, being babysat.
Okay. So, going to specifics about the acts, we got to discuss that. So, you did say that he made you do oral sex on him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What other acts were there?
Just that, pretty much, that I remember, just the oral stuff.
Okay.
And he'd make a mess on me, I'll tell you that much. And that there was times when I went home, there was crust on my shirt, and my mom would just thought it was dried milk.
Okay.
I never mentioned that in the other statement, right?
Right.
And the woman at the time that was taking the statement was an RCMP officer who lived in Berwyn, female, and I can't remember her name, but she was a really good friend of the family that took the statement. I remember the statement, one of the questions she asked me, did he stick anything in your bum? And I said, like, what? Because he didn't stick anything in my bum. She asked it, like a pencil or anything, and I said no. Because he didn't. He just made me service him, doing these things to him. And it was always the oral sex and stuff, right? Or jerking him off.
Okay.
And he would tell me it's just a game. That's how he'd lure me down there, is that he'd tell me it was a game. Here, come play a game. Just don't tell anybody, right? This is our game. Da, 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 fuck.
Do you recall him saying anything else?
Like it wouldn't hurt, nothing hurts, right? And just to not tell anybody.
Okay.
Some people don't like those games, is what he's telling me.
Okay.
But he would repeat the same shit every time. Like trying to make sure of something, or sure I'm not going to talk. But it's pretty brutal, man, and since then, because of what happened, I've been out on the prowl for these types of guys. And exposed a bunch, and so the mentality that I've seen, this guy's a repeat and can't stop. So he's out there doing it now, and I'll guarantee you that, and I'll bet my life and name on it, my soul. So the faster something gets done, the faster it's gonna stop.
Right. So, you said the house was across from the Holy Family?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact address, but I could show you the house. It used to be green, dark green. It was torture.
And who was the babysitter?
The mother, Madeline, but she would take off often, leave me there with her older son. Sometimes he was doing it alone. He was there alone, and the brothers weren't there. Or sometimes he was there with the brothers, right? The brothers upstairs.
Madeline, same last name?
Yeah. Her husband back then used to work for PTI. It used to be called in Peace River. It's like I don't know what it is. It's like a construction sort of company, I guess. But he's dead now. Emal did show up for the funeral, I heard, of his father. Madeline, last I heard, was doing some sewing business in Grimshaw, out of her house. Because I was looking into it. Because I want to confront every one of them on camera, and I want to face them all.
Okay. Anything else you can think of?
Just nothing, just what he did, that's it. That's all I keep thinking of all my life.
Okay.
Screws with you every day.
Yeah. Okay. If there's nothing else, we'll
end it.
Go ahead.
No, we'll end it, sure.
Okay. We'll conclude this at 10:19 hours.